here for the Signature CEO Conference. And we are talking with our speakers that we have here. So just in a few moments, we will be back on. So we are talking with speakers that are going to be at the Signature CEO Conference, and I just want to highlight them. And today we have a very special guest, Dr. Antwain Goode. I have been knowing this gentleman for probably over 10 years now.
Yeah.
Yes, we used to work at major industrial supply company, the largest industrial supply company in the United States. And meeting, at the time, he wasn't Dr. Goode, but meeting him at the time, Antwain was just a strong voice within the organization. And you talking about networking and, you know, moving yourself up the ladder. He was one of those people that just like stood out. When I say that he knew everyone and everyone knew him, it was the truth. And he knew our organization inside and out, which allowed him to be very successful at what he did at the company that we both worked at. And a lot of people looked to him for advice. Just for that guidance.
You're too kind. You're too kind. You're too kind.
So I'm just going to read a little bit about his background. Dr. Antwain Goode is a native of Richmond, Virginia. He holds a doctorate of philosophy in the field of organization and management with a specialization in leadership from Capella University. The specialism helped him to refine his current manufacturing skill sets and to develop leadership concepts, which can be applied to dynamic global settings. To complement his PhD, Antwain holds a High Point University MBA and serves as an adjunct professor of sales and marketing. During his studies, he was able to travel abroad to strengthen his business acumen for international markets. He has visited manufacturing plants such as Volvo in Sweden, Lloyd's of London, Rome, Florence, Madrid, Barcelona, and the list just goes on. He has helped organizations such as Phillip, USA, Allied Signal, Honeywell, BMW, GE, RJR Tobacco, and the list goes on. His area of expertise is leadership research, leadership analysis, systems thinking, organizational development, talent management analysis, contract planning, community liaison strategist, high impact presenter, cross-functional leadership training, and on and on and on. So ladies and gentlemen, I present to you at this time, Dr. Antwain Goode.
Plan B, hello, Plan B.
All right,
this is
back.
Plan B.
You are back.
Hello, this is Plan B. Now I'm ready. This is Plan B. I'm on my cell phone. We're gonna do it this way. Hopefully you can see me from there.
I can see you.
Does that work? We're gonna go with Plan B.
Yes.
Okay.
All right, there you go.
All right, we did it. We did it. This is a new. You know what? That's what it's all about, getting it done, right?
That's right, getting it done, done.
Let's talk about this. Let's talk
all
about
right.
the CEO conference. Sorry, everybody, we're back, but that's what resiliency is all about. This is the type of team. That's who's coming to the CEO conference. Plan B didn't work. Guess what? Turn the phone on. Let's innovate. Let's create the next new thing. Let's do it.
All right. All right.
Okay, let's go.
So, Dr. Goode, tell us about Tate Consulting, how you got started and why.
So, Tate Consulting, we're nestled here in Winston-Salem, North Carolina. And my purpose and passion, what I fell in love with, is leadership and helping others develop their way to success. So the company, we're 2 years old. We've created a very unique team of very dynamic people with dynamic degrees from economics, communications, we have media, we have IT, all master degrees and above, right? And then you have me anchoring, coming up the rear with industrial supply leadership, master of business. And we all have this purpose on how do we help people grow, right? That's my team is really have that philosophy of how do we help people develop. So we're helping people in the educational sector. So that's the collegiate sector. So that's the professors and then the students. And then we're helping individuals in the high school and middle school sector, the principals, and helping the teachers and then helping the students. So that's one sector. We're also have a sector for, we want to serve the, we call it the millennial executive. So that student who's just getting out of college, who's that middle manager, hey, we can help you. And then the community college leaders, right? Those tradesmen. So they are key components to our success as a community. And those people with trades, right? We need them, and they have dynamic skill sets. How do we help that? And finally, Tate Consulting, we are focusing in on the tenured student, which is the retirees. So we entered in the community. We want to help those who are retired and say, wait a minute, we still need you. We need your talents. We need you to bring that back, right? So we're excited to be needed in this space. So really excited to be here, excited about the CEO conference. And I have a theme, and my theme is developing your way to success, the importance of work-life balance.
All right.
Yeah,
All right.
yeah.
And how does that, you forgot to leave out that you are now an author of Bet the Farm. So tell us a little bit about Bet the Farm.
So I wrote a little book called Bet the Farm. I wrote the book actually 7 years ago. I wrote the book for my children. And in that book, I'm trying to share with my family in the community that you can develop your way to success, but you must be in position. I wrote a positioning book. Not a self-help book, but a book on positioning, saying you can attract the necessary mentors to help you get down the road, but you can't do it if you're not in position, because the failures, the letdowns, the miscues in life, they're going to come. But when you're in position and you have the proper mission statements and understanding what value statements are, you begin to create a new strategy for a better plan for your life. And that's what that book is all about. So I'll be sharing some insight there because, purpose and passion are a big deal, and we don't have to let that sit on the side. That needs to be in the forefront to help you, help yourself, help your community, and help your clients. So we'll be sharing that insight with you at the conference.
Okay. And for me personally, knowing you, I think one of your greatest strengths is networking and making yourself visible to the people that you're trying to attract. How do you think that plays into being successful?
So it's a big deal. The networking is very important, but there's another there's another element that's very important, which is called giving back in the community. So another networking element that's important for entrepreneurs right now is how well you interact with your community and community service. So let me tell you a little something that happened to me just last week, which is very important now. I had a client who was in a homeless shelter who's taking a leadership class from me right now. Well, he finished the 8-week course, and guess what he did? He bought me a gift because he found his first job in his life. So instead of me giving him a personal thank you note and just writing it down, I went to the homeless shelter to hand deliver his thank you note. I didn't know what was going to happen to my life that day by delivering his note. So in that shelter, they serve the community every day. And I thought I was the only professional there, but there were many professionals at the homeless shelter giving their talents back to the community. And what did I find? I found a lady sitting at the table who said, I'm stuck, I'm in a rut, I can't get going. But there were 2 other professionals at the table. They are giving back. And I asked her, I said, have anyone ever talked to you about morale, pride, and spirit? She said, no, I haven't. I said, that's what I do in leadership development. We talk about these leadership constructs. So in networking, I was able to share with her that morale is so important to your team. So morale is the enthusiasm toward loyalty to a task or job. I said, you need to, so what are you aligned to? I talked to her about pride. So pride is a good thing. So what about gratitude? And I did talk to her about spirit. I said, that's the animating principle. That's the energy and courage on a team. And she said, wow. I said, we're networking. We're talking about some things right here at the table, not only for you, but for me. She said, well, how am I helping you if I'm just in a homeless shelter? I said, because I'm developing also. And networking is about personal development. I said, it's called developing in place. As I'm understanding crisis, I'm understanding an unfamiliar relationship. I'm understanding the inherited problems and non-authority relationships. That's all part of development in place. I say, so as an entrepreneur is trying to network, it's not just the promotion. It's not just getting ahead or making more money. It's all about the development and the learning that goes in that process in leadership. And leadership is happening all throughout the day like this. It's not just a one-time thing that you lead first thing in the morning, or when you get to work to your team, or you're meeting with your clients, and then you begin that leadership process. No, it happens right now, and it's moving just like that. And you need to be able to share these experiences, and through giving and giving back, I think is the ultimate form of how you begin the process of really understanding that it's not just about you, and that networking is about people, and your clients are people. So I learned a lot in just going to the homeless shelter, because we have to learn how to give as much as we receive. And that's a big part of networking. It's a win-win situation. And by going and getting involved with your community, you get development in place, and you get to learn more about networking in the right capacity, which puts you in the right framework to meet people. So that's what I wanted to share about networking and how I network. I think it's not just meeting someone at an office event or or any other business related event. It's all over the place. And leadership is everybody's business. It's not just a one-time thing.
Okay, wonderful. You hit on a lot of things there. And most of the people that are at the Signature CEO Conference, we are all, I would say 98% of the group are going to be small business owners, entrepreneurs that are out there. And that's how we grow our business, is through networking. And then sometimes out there as entrepreneurs, small business owners, sometimes we get that self-doubt as far as what it is that we can contribute. Are we contributing correctly? And how can we sometimes stay above water or maintain the status that we have? And I think that what you have just stated will provide a lot of insight into that.
Right.
Now, let's get to the topic as far as what you're going to talk about at the conference. Give us some insight into that.
So at the conference, as I talk about my Bet the Farm book, I'm going to share some insight on family planning techniques. I'm going to share some insight on how do you understand the mentors needed by crafting better personal development plans, which means you have to understand anchors. I'm going to talk about anchors. So what's an anchor? So in my book, I highlight that spirituality, passion, tenacity, vision, attitude, and power are tied to anchors, special people in your life. And as soon as you understand what leadership anchors are, you'll be able to find more anchors. So it's one thing to say, I need help. And I think, a lot of people get caught up in understanding what's a mentor and what's a mentee. So a mentor is a person who is a sounding board. A mentor is a person who is a confidant. A mentor is not a replacement for your manager. A mentor is a person who's going to be there to guide you. So oftentimes in life, we get confused over what's the role of the mentor or mentee relationship. So when I come to the conference, I'm going to highlight some themes that are going to help people understand, what is a good mentor and a good mentee? Because you need people to help you get down the road. And oftentimes we look at our mentors as a replacement for your manager. That's not their job. It's not for you to download your baggage. It's for you to understand that here's a different roadmap. Here's a new route to take. Okay. And also I'm going to share some insight about positioning. You have to be in position. You have to choose a position that you can be proud of. You have to choose a position that you can help someone else. And I think it's also important in my talk when I'm there is to talk about resiliency. Okay, so you talk about being an entrepreneur, right? And when I think about the businesses that are going to come to the conference, right? You're creative. The creativity is such a big deal. No one talks about being creative. But Albert Einstein once said that, creativity is greater than knowledge, right? So to be creative is a big deal for an entrepreneur right now. Be able to create the next new thing. So how do you do that, right? So it takes some things to be resilient. You need to understand you're like accepting change, right? Accepting, that means learn from the people around you. So another form of resiliency would be like continuous learning. So what is continuous learning? That means that you take the time to learn, right? And you take those experiences, you bring them back in. You bring them back in and say, wait a minute, I learned how to do all these skill sets in my career. Bring them back and you take your time learning. And another thing you can do to build resiliency, which is a big deal for creativity, is going to be a sense of purpose. I think that's another thing that we don't really talk about, is having a personal why. What makes your life and your work meaningful? And once you have those key concepts for resiliency, you'll be able to be confident with your creativity. and you'll be able to attract the necessary mentors to help you get down the road. So I think by sharing that insight, I think will really give the entrepreneurs the courage to believe in their gifts, their talents, their brands, that people need them. Now, oftentimes, a lot of entrepreneurs, they give up too soon. They give up too soon, and they never see the waters part because they quit. Don't quit. You have to be resilient. You have to believe in creativity. You're going to need to understand the mentor-mentee relationship, and then you have to write it down. You got to write it down. So what's your mission statement, right? So why is that important? It is your own personal constitution. It's your preamble. And then as soon as you have your preamble, you help your family with their preambles. And then you help your team with your brand and your mission statement. And then you'll be able to stand tall enough to talk to your clients with a lot of confidence and purpose, saying, we really understand your business. We understand our business. We understand what we're all about. It'll be authentic. And that was what my research was all about, authentic leadership theory, about how do you become your authentic self, which is a balanced leader, transparency. You know, you talk about authentic behavior. Those are big, big constructs that are needed in leadership that can help people move the dial, move your organization forward, and you can do it. So I'm excited to be part of the CEO conference. When I think about the many people that are going to be there, I think about just a blessing for me. I'm just so thankful. I'm so fortunate to be able to give back. And I know someone's life is going to change one person at a time. It's a one person at a time situation. And oftentimes as an entrepreneur, you can easily overlook the person right in front of you, right? You're looking at maybe the opportunity. You're looking at your own personal things you have going on, but you got to stop. You got to stop. And personal development is not when you go. Personal development is when you stop and you plan.
All right.
Yeah, that's what it's all about.
All right. Awesome.
Yeah.
And you've given such a great summary of what you're going to be speaking about. Mm-hmm. 2 takeaways that you want people to walk away from your talk.
I think 2 takeaways I would say is, number one, let's have the personal why. You know, understand what's important to you. You know, which is what keeps you up at night. Which is, for me, it's my family. There's nothing more important for me than leaving a legacy for my family. You know, what was your life all about? What brings you meaning? I want people to come away with, hey, wait a minute. You know, I need to go back and do some self-reflection to find out what's the true meaning. What's my true north? Right? It's so easy to have a mishap, a failure, a health issue, and you don't go after your dream. I want to make sure people say, wait a minute, I can go after my dream. It's not too late. Don't throw in the towel. Another takeaway I would say would be to, how about meeting other people? It's so easy to think that you're the only one going through something, right? The only one who's had a failure, right? I want people to connect and go, let me help you with that. I've been through something similar. And sometimes as a leader, we have to open up and share our experiences so people can go, whoa, okay, I can relate to that. And it's so easy not to relate to someone else's pain if you don't share your pain, right? So sometimes we have to open up and give just as much as we receive. So I think the conference is going to be fantastic. I'm excited about how I'm going to grow. I'm excited how the people around me are going to grow. I'm excited about the sharing that's going to happen. And more importantly, the innovation. I think someone there is going to come to that seminar that I'm going to speak at, and they're going to create the next new thing for themselves. Their families are going to create their personal mission statements, and they're going to move on down the road and know that there'll never be another day like today, right? So give it your best.
All right. That's awesome.
Give it your best.
That's awesome. Well, you answered my next question, which was, why should people attend? And I think that you kind of summed that up right there. We do have 2 viewers. So do our viewers have any questions right now for Dr. Antwain Goode? We'll see if anybody has anything. No one? Anyone going to pose a question?
We're here.
Well, you're here, yes, and you're going to be at the Signature CEO Conference. Yes. So any last words for our viewers?
Yeah, there is one. There's a big one. I love you. Yeah, I love you. You know, it's so easy to forget that, you know, today could be our last day, you know, and then what do we leave behind, right? What's your legacy? And for those that are watching me, those 2 that are watching, Can't wait to meet you. Know that today you can create the next new thing. I want you to read my book, Bet the Farm. You can follow me on Twitter at Dr. Antwain 1. You can follow me on my Facebook page at the Tate Consulting Firm. But more importantly, somebody loves you. You can do it. Don't leave the house without telling somebody you love them. And I also give back your talents because they're not yours. They don't belong to you. Make sure you give it away freely so they'll come back to you triple. So that's all I got to say.
Awesome. Awesome. So you've heard it, ladies and gentlemen, from Dr. Antwain Goode. He will be presenting at the Signature CEO Conference on October 31st and November 1st. There is still time for you all to register. So we hope that you will do that. You can visit our website at www.thesignatureceo.com. Registration ends on October 3rd. So please go ahead.
Register.
Yes, register today.
We want to see you.
Yes, we need you there in the seats.
Yes.
So please register today. Also, if you're coming from out of town or don't want to drive that far, the hotel reservations at the Marriott also, that ends on October 3rd. So please register. We want you to be there to see all of our dynamic speakers, engage with Dr. Antwain Goode. He will be having his books there. So please attend. And you can tell all of your friends, those that view today, that they can come back and view this video and learn about Dr. Antwain Goode. All right. Well, go ahead.
I want to say something to you. I want to say we are proud of you. We congratulate you for putting together such a dynamic group of leaders all around you. I'm excited about how well you've been able to be a leader in this sector for a number of years. And you consistently help other people get down the road. So kudos to you. You keep doing what you do. You keep fighting. You be tenacious, and keep that creativity going. We support you.
Oh, thank you. Well, guys, I couldn't have ended it any better. Thank you, Dr. Antwain Goode, for that. I needed that to help me start my Monday, to help me to start my week.
You got it. You keep doing what you do.
All right.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. And thank you, everyone, for joining. And we'll see you next time. Bye-bye.
Sure. Thanks. Bye.